So when I was transitioning from your average guy to the goody-goody, I stumbled across a game called The Sims Online, and basically it's The Sims, but you can play it online. So every character on the screen is somebody at their keyboards. Before all this World of Warcraft stuff came out, it was all about The Sims Online, and it's not a game where you fight through and you beat a boss or you beat the bad guy and the game is over. This game never ends. My goal in the game was to date like a guy, and I've heard a few girls say that, which means you just, find as many people as possible and hook up with them. That was my goal when I first got the game. See, in real life there's a lot of lessons to learn, and this game kind of echoes the same lessons. So I made a few mistakes, and hopefully you guys can learn from the mistakes I made in game and apply them in real life. Let's go back to the beginning. It started when I made my character. I adjust my features, my face, my clothes, my shoes, all that, and then I pick which city I want to move into. Once I got my own lot, I just started building, and the problem I always have with Sims is my eyes are bigger than my wallet. So I end up building this huge house, and by the time I put tiles and wallpaper in, all I have enough money for is a couch and my little tip jar. So before I even look in the newspaper for a job or anything like that, because in the game you have to get a job too. And you know what, I was like, forget all that, where the party at? All right, so I find this house party that's nearby, and I jump in, and there was about 20 or 30 people on this lot, and I didn't know anybody, so I'm just walking around the house, seeing what's going down. There was this girl out back by the hot tub, so I'm like, okay, let me go see how easy it is, let me see what these sim girls are all about. So we jump in the hot tub and we start talking. I'm like, where you from, blah, blah. She's asking me where I'm from, blah, blah. And we get out the pool, and next thing you know, she's like, hey, you wanna make out? And I'm like, this game is gonna win Game of the Year. I love this game already. I haven't even been playing it for 10 minutes and this girl already wants to make out with me. So we start making out, of course. And that lasts for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then she stops and she asks me, she's like, so do you have a girlfriend in real life? And I'm like, no girlfriend in real life. What about you? You got a man in real life? She's like, yeah, I got a man. And then I stopped and thought, I was like, if I was her boyfriend and I walked past her monitor and she's on there making out with a bunch of random sim guys, I don't know how I'd feel about that. It was right there where I noticed just how close this game was dancing to that line of reality. But you know what? It's just a game, so I'm not gonna let stuff like this bother me. So after talking to this girl for a little bit, I noticed my sim was starting to get a little sleepy. So I took him over to the little guest house on this lot and made him take a nap. And that was it, that was my first day. I turned the computer off, went about my regular life. I came back to the game about 2 or 3 times throughout the week. So then about 4 days after I started playing the game, I went to this one house party. And I started thinking to myself as soon as I get on the lot, like, okay, how long is it gonna take me before I hook up with some fine little sim girl today? And as soon as I get on this lot, it's like one girl stands out above every single person in the party. Like there's about 35 people on this lot, and there's one girl that seems to control everything. People are in the bathroom whispering to each other like, is that so-and-so? Is she really on this lot? Oh my gosh, she's really here. That's really her. I think that's really her. This girl apparently is like the Jessica Alba of The Sims Online. The game seems to revolve around her. So then naturally I'm like, target acquired, cover me. So, I make my way over to her and we start talking. I get my Rico Suave on, you know what I'm saying? She's like, I don't think I've seen you around before. And I'm like, yeah, I've only had the game for like 3 days. I'm kind of new here. And she's like, yeah, most guys are afraid to approach me and talk to me on this game. And I'm like, listen, baby, okay? When your sim looks as hot as my sim, you ain't afraid to talk to nobody, okay? So fast forward 15 minutes and this girl is all over me. I mean, she's like all over me. So now I have this sim girl in the palm of my hand. I mean, what else is there left to do in this game? Come on now. I have Jessica Alba. Game over. So I asked her, because the last hookup I didn't go the way I liked it. I asked her, hey, you don't have a man in real life, do you? She's like, nope, no man. And everybody on this lot is freaking out. Like, they cannot believe that this Adonde guy just shows up out of nowhere and is kissing all up on the Jessica Alba of The Sims right now. They couldn't believe it. I'm like, whatever, pop my collar, holla, it's nothing. But we talked for a little bit more. So then she's like, so you've only been playing the game for 3 days. Have you tried out all the features on it? And I'm like, actually, I see this little thing called woohoo. I don't know what that's all about. Whenever I get next to the bed, it says woohoo, but it's always grayed out. She's like, well, we can go back to your place and I can show you what it does. And I'm just like, I was actually gonna step away from the computer for a little bit, but I think I can make a little bit of extra time to see this woohoo thing. So we get back to my house and we both jump into bed, and I'm starting to think, okay, this game is rated T for teens. So whatever this woohoo thing is, it can't be that bad. It's not, adults only. It's T for teens. So, and it's pretty mild stuff. They just get under their covers and giggle for 5 seconds and they come back up. So it worked out. So, that little voice inside of me is like, dude, is this okay? Like, again, this game is dancing really close to that line. You know how you are, and you know what you're doing in this game. And I'm just like, you know what? It's just a game. I got this. The girl's name is Felicia, by the way. So me and Felicia start hanging out regularly for the next 2 or 3 days. We just, party hop and hang out in hot tub. And she finally just like, you know what? I like your place so much better than my place. You think it'd be okay if I just moved in with you for a little bit? So I'm like, yeah, you're like my best friend on here now. Why not? What do I have to do to let you move in? She's like, oh, well, you have to go into options, and then you have to select me as landlord or co-owner. Okay, cool, whatever. I only have like a bed and a sofa and a tip cup in my house anyways. Like, she can't really do anything to my house. So I made her co-owner. Felicia's like, hey, can you come back to my house? I gotta take care of some stuff real quick. I'm like, oh, okay. So we get to Felicia's house. I don't even know how to put it into words. Her place was ridiculous. So she walks inside and she goes over to the table and starts writing something on a piece of paper. And I'm looking around the house. I was starting to see why everybody in the city kind of looked at her like she was Paris Hilton. So I asked her, I'm like, how did you get so rich and popular? And she's like, oh, well, my husband is the mayor of the city. What do you mean, your husband? You said you weren't seeing anybody. And she was like, no, you asked me if I had a boyfriend in real life. I don't, but in this game, I'm married to the mayor. And I'm like, does your sim husband know that you and I have been woohooing for the last 4 days? And she's like, no, I'm leaving him today and I'm writing him a Dear John letter right now, so I'm probably going to include that in here. Then I hear the door open and I turn around, and if you guys thought that it was bad now, come back next week because it's about to get a little bit worse.